Згортати. Чекай. Чекай, тут же ж треба тут все позакривати. Чекай. Hello. Hi. I'm fine, thank you. So today I will try to analyze some games from first official World Championship match between Johannes Zuckertort and Wilhelm Steinitz. It was 1886. Well, so now, first game. Zuckertort is white. He played d4, d5, c4, c6. Stop defense. e3. Not the most popular move, but totally possible. Idea of white probably to avoid this line. Which we can see in many games. For example, Kasparov had games against Svidler and against Ivan Sokolov with white. Okay, e3. Bishop f5. Principal reaction, not allow bishop d3. So if to play bishop d3, this exchange of bishops is good for black, and black can achieve equality without any problem after exchange of bishops. And if c takes d5, c takes d5, queen b3, it's important that black has queen c7, attacking bishop and defending pawn, and black is ready for e6, knight c6, if bishop b5, knight d7, and then e6. So it's not a big problem to equalize in this line for black. So the most popular line here, knight c3, played Zuckertort, e6, but now knight f3, it's not the best according to modern theory. The most aggressive line here is g4, and after bishop g6, knight ge2. This is idea of Croatian grandmaster Zdenko Kozul. White wants to play knight f4 or h4, and after h6, knight f4. If bishop d6, queen b3, and white wants to provoke some weaknesses in queen's flank. So g4 is stronger according to modern theories than knight f3, because after knight f3, important that Steinitz starts with knight d7. So good move. He doesn't allow knight h4, which is the most popular line here. So knight d7. Okay, so in this move order, white cannot fight for opening advantage anymore. So probably the most precise way for white. Play bishop d3 and agree with equality. After bishop d3, black has choice. So they can exchange bishops immediately. Also possible bishop g6, because e4 is not dangerous. f6 is totally acceptable position. Гарного вам вечора, дякую. Буду старатися провести цікавий стрім. So a3 played Zuckertort. Okay, it's very strange plan. And c5, so of course it's anti-positional play, because after bishop c7, black is ready to play e5, and they will have comfortable positions. b4, e5, bishop e2. Okay, more logical probably just take here. After knight takes e5 to play knight d4. At least wins the tempo and develop knight for active position. Also important that bishop g6 now it's quite risky. Probably possible, but f4 necessary to be considered. Okay, I'm not sure that this is so strong for white, however, because black can play knight d7, if f5, queen h4 check. Probably it's not so bad, because if king d2, bishop h5 is coming, if g3, black can take this position, probably good for black. Anyway, it's not so obvious. But okay, knight f6, rook h2 in some moment, probably it's good for black. Okay, but after bishop g6, white can play less aggressive. For example, just bishop e2 to prepare f4. Now, if knight f6 is blunder, because after f4, white is winning the piece. Knight is attacked, f5 is coming. So knight f6 is blunder. And for example, if knight e7 castle, and again f4, f5 is threat. So it's not so easy. Okay, of course, black can play knight e7 immediately, but bishop e2, castle. Then bishop b2 is coming. Okay, it looks like more logical than what Zuckertort played. So d takes e5 certainly was the best choice for white in this position, in my opinion. So bishop e2, knight f6. Okay, also now white could realize same idea. And now bishop g7, bishop g6, as I explained it already, was a big mistake, because after f4, black just losing the piece. So after knight d4, black should play something else. Okay, so f4 and f5. I don't see sufficient compensation for the piece here. Okay, probably knight e4, we can consider knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, f takes e5, bishop takes g2, rook g1, queen is... black has several pawns, but anyway, piece in this position is more important than pawns. Of course, black has some practical chances, but objectively, I think white should be better. Okay, so bishop b2, now bishop on b2 is active if instruction d takes e5, knight takes e5, bishop has good diagonal, but after e4, bishop is extremely passive now. And black has easy play. They can play in king's flank, and white has no serious contraplay. Okay, on b5, and then try to attack c6 pawn or prepare a4, a5, but it's quite slow. So h5. it's a good idea. So black wants to play knight g4. For example, if white ignored this, it can be really dangerous. Knight g4, after h3, queen h4. Now white is in big trouble. They cannot take knight because of obvious motives. Castle probably not lost immediately, but extremely dangerous because rook h6 is coming and then rook g6. So this kind of attack hardly white can defend in this position. And if g3, bishop takes g3. If rook f1, knight takes e3 is winning. It's the simplest way, but of course also possible this. Okay, this is very simple, but it's illustrate that already threats of black are very serious. So h3, it's wise move, not allow knight g4, knight f8. So black tries another plan. They want to transfer his knight on h4. It will be especially dangerous if white will play a short castle. So a4 played Zuckertort. Maybe more logical was to prepare long castle, for example, to play queen b3 after knight g6, long castle to avoid attack. Now after knight h4, white has choice to play g3 or even rook dg1 is possible. So now, okay. Anyway, black is slightly better because his play in king's flank is stronger than white contraplay in queen's flank, but not so easy, at least to create concrete threats for black. So Zuckertort ignore black's threats and Steinitz starts attack knight h4. So now pawn g2 is attacked, rook g1, bishop h2 is extremely unpleasant because if rook h1 this and bishop h3, black is winning due to threat knight takes e3, or if king f1, white is just exchanged down. King f1 immediately probably was more or less safe choice, and to prepare g3. Try to block somehow black attack. And if, for example, queen d7, a5 is possible to prepare a6. So start such kind of contraplay. If now a6, okay, b6 is possible, just take and knight b3. Knight a4, sorry. If bishop a5, knight b3, it's possible, and then knight b6, white has excellent compensation for the pawn. So if not queen d7, white can play g3 in next move, and then probably king g2 or h4 even. Дякую, thank you. So king f1 was good defensive move. This standard now, more or less, also was possible. Bishop f1. It's a little bit passive, but prepare g3. Yes, I understand. Thank you. So, but Zuckertort played g3. He ignores black's threats, and Steinitz immediately starts attack. So he gave a piece, but now he can see that we can see that white king is in dangerous situation somehow. Okay, it's not so obvious, but black has many attacking ideas. connected with rook h6, rook g6, probably queen d7 in some moment is possible to attack. King g2 played Zuckertort. Knight on g1, but okay, knight on g1, you mean here to play knight g1? Okay, but hardly a logical decision because I don't see special perspective for white knights, especially with bishop on e2. So if without bishop e2, knight e2, knight g3, it's possible. Also h5, h4 is coming always. Okay, so let's come back. This sharp positions, Steinitz gave a piece and he has excellent attacking chances. So king g2 played Zuckertort. He wants to attack bishop. Now h4 looks very logical, but Steinitz played bishop c7. Matter of taste, difficult to say which move is better. So I'm not sure that I would play bishop c7 probably. I would prefer h4, but it's matter of taste. I can repeat only. h4 with idea rook h6, rook g6, some variation. Queen d7. If knight f1, even this is possible to consider. I'm not sure that this is the best choice for black, but at least this is possible. But okay, he played bishop c7, queen g1. Strange somehow, but what is alternative? Knight f1 looks like logical move, and if, for example, rook h6, now king f2, it has a chance transfer his king via e1 to d2, where king is more or less safe, although anyway black has a splendid positional compensation here. Of course, black can try queen d7, attack the pawn, try to win. So black has excellent attacking chances. So white has a piece up, but in this position it's not so important because bishop on b2 is out of play. So queen g1, rook h6, king f1, rook g6. So white played this, but now big problems that pawn h3 is attacked, and king e1 never possible because bishop g3. So probably knight f1 was the best choice for white in this position. Okay, maybe black can try to prevent plan king f2, king king e1, probably knight d7 is strong to prepare queen g5 check or queen h4. But okay, now h4 is possible. Again, white is planning to play king f2 and king e1 as soon as possible. Of course, black has excellent compensation for a piece, but it's very far from winning the game yet. Also, we can try for queen f6, if king f2, it's possible idea bishop h3, king e1, bishop g2. Rook is attacked, and if this, queen f2. Now, black is very close to win, but after queen f6, probably white can try to play queen e1 now to prepare knight g3. Anyway, we see that black has a dangerous, very dangerous attack, and it's not so easy to feel that white has extra piece, because the position is closed, and bishop b2 and knight c3 is out of place. So queen g1, rook h6, queen d7, takes, rook g1. Already black has 3 pawns, and now knight g4, important move. So white cannot play queen h4 because knight takes e3, and black already has 4 pawns for the piece, more than enough compensation. So bishop g4, also good position for bishop. White cannot transfer king to c2 via d1. And also B line is opened already, so black has resources not only in king's flank, but also in queen's flank. Someone respond in this lesson. Well, I'm not in mood to play, okay, but I will comment. So knight e2, queen e7. What is the idea of queen e7? Not so easy to understand. Not so natural move, by the way. Probably rook f6 was very natural, for example. And I don't know why Steinitz didn't play this. Probably queen h4. Probably this he wanted to prevent somehow. And now, if imagine that queen already on e7, black has idea to play rook f1 check and take the queen. Now, if queen e7, it's possible, but now rook takes g4. And this, and white is wins. If bishop d8, queen h2, white can try to defend this position. So anyway, black is much better. Even plan queen b7, queen a6 can be pretty strong. For example, queen b7, bishop c3, queen a6. If knight f4, black wins immediately. Rook takes f4, white cannot take with queen because... what about... queen f8 is possible, so I missed queen f8, sorry. I'm very sorry, yes, queen f8. Thank you, I missed queen f8. So probably I'm not in the best shape, but okay. I will continue my stream. So rook f6 was possible, but Steinitz played queen e7 immediately. For World Cup, I need to qualify at least. I didn't qualify yet. To qualify, I need to play in European individual championship, probably. So, knight f4, played Zuckertort. Rook f6 is unpleasant threat already, as I explained. Maybe a logical decision would be a long castle, but it's against rules, because white king already moved. So long castle is not possible anymore. It's important to realize this. So knight f4 he played, rook f6, rook h6. Again, idea probably, if rook f6, queen h4 probably. white wanted to play. Also, position looks like very bad. Black has many ideas. Rook b8 is possible, for example. Bishop takes f4 and e3, it's possible. So position is very bad for black. For white, sorry. But Steinitz played rook h6. He's not hurry. He wants just play g5 and then only rook f6. So bishop c3, g5, knight e2, rook f6. Queen g2, rook f3. Nice move. Not so difficult one, but nice. So black has three pawns against piece and total domination over the board. Pawn e3 is hanging. White cannot take rook, of course, because e takes f3 and f takes e2. So knight f1, rook b8. B line is for black, yes. f5, a5, f4. Rook h1. White is totally hopeless, of course. It's time to win. Queen takes f2, played Zuckertort, because if queen g1, queen f3 is coming, white simply has no defense. If knight takes g4, queen d3 check. Rook b1 mates. So queen f2, but it's desperation. Bishop f4, intermediate check. Probably with idea to play queen f3. Of course, h takes g4 is possible as well, but queen f3 I like. This idea queen d3 check. Or b1 check. Firstly, and then queen d3 mate. For example, if knight e5, bishop takes, now mate into. So king c2 takes, bishop d2, e3. Black is totally winning. King e6. Steinitz like it. Go with king to the center. Now it's totally safe. But in his gambit, with king e2 is not totally safe. Bishop f4. Fine. So quite convincing victory for Wilhelm Steinitz. Of course, it were some mistakes from Johannes Zuckertort. But okay, it's chess. So now game one. It was game one, now game two. So game two, Zuckertort must be in black. Right? So is this or not? I'm not sure that this is game two, but okay, probably it was game two. Or it was game four. Maybe this. No, this was game two. Berlin. Rook e1, more popular move d4 with Berlin endgame or something else. Something else, I mean that this line is also possible. Okay, so rook e1, 96, modern theory. So, quite modern position. And now there is a lot of theory. For example, it's possible to play bishop f4, takes, knight e8, knight c3, bishop takes d4, want to remember. Knight d5, d6. This is theoretical line. Now bishop g5. After f6, white has choice. Two moves are possible: bishop e3 or bishop h4. White has totally enough compensation for the pawn. But okay, it's modern theory. So Steinitz played c3, takes, knight f5. Very logical. Black wants to play d5. So white can play d5 now to prevent this if white is in fighting spirit, if d6, knight d2, and then knight e4, something like this. Okay, it's not advantage, but playable position. Steinitz played bishop f4. Small trick, black cannot play d5 immediately because bishop takes c7. Okay, but it's very easy to see. So Zuckertort played d6. Also possible was c6 to prepare d5, because now bishop c7 is harmless. Black can respond queen f8, for example, and then d5 is coming. So, but Zuckertort played d6, knight d2, and bishop e6 he played. Also possible was to play g5 to get two bishops advantage, but there is some weakness of king's flank, for example. I mean, something like this. Then bishop g6. But okay, it's not necessary. So bishop e6 played Zuckertort. Looks like he is preparing bishop g5 to exchange bishops. Immediately bishop g5 obviously was not possible, because mate from g6, no, because bishop on g7 is not active against formation c3, d4. So bishop e6, bishop d3 played Steinitz. Okay, white's still slightly better. Probably d6 is small inaccuracies. I would prefer c6. And after c6, I don't see how white can fight for advantage in this position, because black is prepared to play d5. So d6, in my opinion, a little bit dubious move. Okay, bishop e6, now bishop d3 played Steinitz. More logical knight e4, in my opinion, immediately to prevent bishop g5, because after bishop d3, black could play this. But anyway, this position a little bit more pleasant for white, probably. After takes, knight f3. Also, queen f4 probably the strongest. Queen f4. If queen e2, bishop d5 is coming. It's important. Because if queen f6, queen e4, it's quite unpleasant already. Queen on b7, it's hanging, so somewhere g4 is possible. If c6, now g4, bishop d5, but queen f4 is unpleasant, it's threat g4. This is not so easy. H6 is possible, this idea after g4 to play g5, but h4 is coming, and now white has some ideas. Okay, probably black can hold the position, but at least not so pleasant. So queen f4, in my opinion, is strong and not allow queen e4. It's important. Okay, maybe queen e4 immediately, but now maybe queen e4 is more precise. But important that after this queen h4 doesn't work because queen f3. White has double attack. Pawn is hanging, knight is hanging. So probably queen e4 is the best way. Black can try knight d5. Now after bishop g5, queen takes g5, important that knight d2 is hanging, and white has no time for queen e5, for example. So queen e5 immediately looks like more logical, but now black can take. Play knight d6, rook e1, queen d7, knight f3, f6, something like this, and black is prepared for bishop f5 or rook e8. So close to equality. Maybe just equal position because white has no active possibilities anymore. So bishop d3 played Steinitz, bishop g5 was possible, but Zuckertort played knight h4. Knight e4, very logical. Knight g6, bishop d2, white is not hurried to take, because if take immediately, bishop d2, black can consider knight f4 with some active possibilities. For example, this is illustrative variation. If f3, of course, this is cooperative play. Black is winning now. So bishop d2. Oh, white can take on f4. This is equality. White can play bishop f1, but okay, rook e8. Sorry, rook e8, queen e4, maybe not so pleasant. So maybe again bishop d5. But now f3 is possible. To prepare queen g3, something like this. It's playable position. Okay, but Steinitz played bishop d2, and now bishop e7 was possible to go back, but Zuckertort played d5. So now white has choice what to do. For modern player, we can expect to just take on f6 and queen e3. This idea rook e1 or queen g3 in some variation. So queen g3, bishop g5, it's also possible in future with threat to catch the queen. Bishop f5 is possible, but after bishop f5, white can play simply bishop f1, and then rook e1 is coming, so white has two bishops advantage and also control on e lines. It's not so pleasant for black. But Steinitz played knight c5. Also possible, but personally I would prefer knight takes f6 and queen e3. I think black is quite far from equality here, and white has very easy and pleasant play with rook e1, queen g3, and later to see what black will do. Knight c5 looks active, but after bishop c8, b6 is coming, knight will go to b3, and from b3 knight has no great perspective. So I don't like knight c5, even I will claim that this is just a bad move. So knight takes f6, in my opinion, was much stronger. So after knight takes f6, white is better. After knight c5, this position is already equality, I think. Even white has no minimal advantage, in my opinion, because b6 is coming. So white is not fighting for advantage anymore. For equality, white has, for example, bishop c2 was possible, after b6, knight d3, the bishop f5, knight b4, something like this. If queen d7, just take, queen b1. This drawish. Queen e3, b6. Important that rook e1 immediately doesn't work because black can just take. So queen e8 is not made. Black has knight f8 immediately or after taking. So this idea doesn't work. Black has two possibilities: take and knight f8, or immediately knight f8 possible. So knight b3. Now white knight is quite passive. And black has which rating now? Very difficult because okay, we will continue much till the end, and I will answer you because now okay, I have seen games from much Anderson against Steinitz, so okay, quite good level it was, about 2600s. Steinitz Anderson, but about Zuckertort, I'm not sure how strong it was, but we will consider this much. For example, he's playing queen d6 now. Queen d6, a little bit strange for me, so much more natural, in my opinion, bishop e6 to prepare queen d7, bishop f5. It looks like more natural, in my opinion. Queen d6, okay, it's also possible, but what is idea? White can play queen g3 if they want to go to endgame. Okay, this is approximately equal. Black can play bishop e6, for example. White has problem with knight on b3, so I strongly dislike maneuver knight e4, knight c5, b3. Okay, queen e8 check. Of course, white can start with rook e1. I don't see any problem. Probably Zuckertort wanted to play bishop d7 to prepare rook e8 somehow, but now queen g3 is possible with equal endgame. Okay, but check and bishop b7. Okay, logic of check, it's force black to develop bishop b7. So bishop on b7, not so active than on e6 or on d7. So queen e3, knight e6. But bishop on b7 can be useful if black will play c5 in some moment. Also, c5 is double edge, always hanging pawns. On queen f3 played Steinitz. Very logical was to play queen g3, again go to endgame, and immediately c5 is hardly good because white has bishop f5. This hanging pawns is not so strong. Okay, but it's not necessary for black to hurry with c5, rook e8, totally possible with equal position. Always we can see that white has permanent problem with knight on b3, so they need time to improve position of his knight. But Steinitz played queen f3. It's different idea. He wants to play queen f5 and attack h7 too. So Zuckertort played rook d8, queen f4. White has other moves, even h4 is possible, for example. Idea to play queen f5 in better situation. c5 is possible, but after c5, queen f5. So now in this structure, knight on b3 suddenly can be useful. Although now I'm not sure about c4. Probably black can just ignore this threat and win the piece. I'm not sure that compensation will be totally enough. For example, something like this. There is some compensation, but it's style of Tal, something like this. And what is this? Knight f4 is coming, next move. So probably it's possible. So now we can see idea of h4, because in some variation white has bishop g5. So queen f5 looks active, but after knight f8, black wants to play bishop c8 with Stampy and improve his bishop. So bishop f4, queen c6. Game against Caruana with white or with black? I won both of game against Caruana. With white in 4 knights, or with black pierce defense. Oh, it was draw. No, with black it was draw probably. Oh, I don't remember. Queen c6 played Zuckertort. Yes, pierce. So bishop c8 probably was dangerous somehow. White has several ideas, even this is possible. With queen a6. What about rook e3? In which moment rook e3? This. Also possible, this idea. Bishop b7. After queen c6, rook e3. Rook e3, bishop c8, nothing special. Queen h5 only move. And black can do something. Even g6 is possible. Yes, Türkçe konuşabiliyorum. Okay, so knight d2. So Steinitz understands that knight on b3 is passive, and he wants to improve his knight. Also, probably bishop e5 was possible. Idea of bishop c8, this queen h6. Idea to provoke to take on e5, and after d takes e5, knight will go to d4. Okay. Of course, g6 is not necessary. Probably black has rook e8, for example. Okay, knight d2, bishop, queen h5, g6, queen e2. Knight e6, bishop g3. Very natural looks bishop e5, idea to exchange bishops and try to utilize weakness of dark squares. Probably nothing special after queen d6. hold this position. If queen f6, for example, knight g7, it's a simple way to equalize. So bishop g3, Steinitz wants to have more complicated play. Queen b7, knight f3. Again, bishop e5 in this position may be even better because queen from b7 cannot go to d6. Knight f3, he played c5, d takes c5, not necessary. Again, I like bishop e5. Here, if he takes, I can take with queen, with an active position, because bishop on d3 is much stronger than bishop on c8. So it was very logical. If bishop e7, maybe h4 simply possible. And white position, yes, h4, yes. So till this moment, white is slightly better. It's typical situation for Berlin variation. So I explain why, because Zuckertort played strange move queen d6. So this moment was important. He lost many tempers. So after bishop e6, queen d7, bishop f5 is coming. So I think at least white has no any chances for advantage. Even probably black has small advantage because of terrible position of knight on b3. But after queen d6, Steinitz slowly outplayed his opponent. b7. It's artificial, maybe more logical was to play this and then c6. But anyway, knight f3, h4, so white has more pleasant position here. But okay, so now instead of very natural and very good move bishop e5, Steinitz took on c5. It's a totally different type of position. It's hanging pawn. Now black has contraplay. For example, if now bishop e5, black can take bishop. If queen takes b2. Okay, white has some compensation, but it's not so obvious. For example, this. Rook takes e6 is threat. No, not okay. Rook f8, for example. If h4, queen b6. If h5, queen d8. Okay, Marshall style compensation. If white, okay, probably take with knight is more logical. Knight f4, queen d2. Knight d3, knight takes d3, and this is okay. This is equal position. Something like this. But Steinitz played knight e5. c4 is also possible, but c4 is black can take on b2 with queen. This is very far from obvious. So knight e5, he played c4. Now d4, after c4, d4. It's possible, but after d4, my idea was to play bishop e4 and bishop d5. Also possible knight d2 and knight, no, yes, knight d2 is possible, because queen b2, knight e4, maybe not convincing, however, because queen takes e2, knight f6, king g7. White has some compensation, but I'm not sure about this. Okay, after d4, bishop e4, and bishop d5. But okay, queen takes b2 is possible. I'm not sure that white has strong. Somewhere white is suffering without h3, without window. Nasıl? Çok güzel. Mustafa Yılmaz iyi oynuyor. Okay, but after knight e5, now c4, black has strong pressure against b2 pawn. So bishop b1, bishop g7, so it looks like black has even some positional advantage because of weakness on b2. Rook d1, was probably nothing serious yet, but we'll see. So rook d1, bishop d7, queen f3. Okay, of course white can take on d7 and just play this position. So rook takes d7, queen takes d7, less logical because bishop e4 is coming. And bishop will go to f3 with pressure to d5. So rook takes d7, and now something like this looks like logical. Interesting position. White wants to play h5. Black cannot play h5 because bishop takes g6. Probably necessary to check d4, but d4 at least not dangerous for white. White can just take here. Now, okay, queen takes b2. After this, white can just take and this. And after queen d1, queen f1 is coming. So it was also h4 immediately totally possible. Because if, for example, bishop a4, rook e1, this idea knight takes f7. Or here rook e1 is possible. If bishop e8, now h4 is possible, something like this. If rook b8, white at least has knight g4 or knight f3, like idea. But suddenly Steinitz lost this playable position, probably approximately equal, in two moves. He played queen f3, and after bishop e8, he took on c4. Incredible blunder. Normal move was rook d2, of course. Playable position for both. Probably black is slightly better because white has serious weakness on a2 and black can try to play a5, but okay, after a5 now knight takes c4 is possible. And necessary to check this, but I'm not sure is it. Maybe this is good for black, however, because rook d1 is coming, but there is trick. White can play h4, and black has big problem. After rook d1, king h2, rook takes, they cannot defend his bishop. White is just winning, because if king f8, bishop d6. So rook d2, now knight takes c4 is threat. So black should do something to defend against. Queen b6 is possible, for example. Or queen b5. But okay, it's playable position. But Steinitz took on c4, probably he didn't see that, I don't know what he didn't see. But after d takes c4, white can just resign. If take queen, it will be mate. If take rook, just take. So Steinitz lost by terrible blunder. So score is 1-1 now after game 2. Well, can you see me and hear me well? I hope so. So game 3. Again, Zuckertort is white. So he played already knight c3. So he doesn't want bishop f5 anymore. Knight f6, e3. Modern line, and now bishop f5 is different story. Because we remember that after e3, first game won Steinitz, second game was Zuckertort. In first 5 games was no draws. All games was decisive. So after e3, bishop f5, in first game Steinitz played e6, and now Zuckertort played knight f3, although g4 is more promising line. Line of Zdenko Kožul. Çok teşekkürler. So knight f3. Sorry. Now knight c3, he played knight f6, e3, bishop f5. Steinitz played. But okay, in this position, bishop f5 is possible, but it's much more risky. So white has more option. C takes d5, played Zuckertort, also possible to play this, of course. So c takes d5. If knight takes d5, white has many ideas. Bishop c4, for example, is possible to prepare knight g2 at e4. After c takes d5, queen b3. And important that black cannot play queen b6, because after knight takes d5, they are losing the pawn. Because of this, white took on d5 immediately. If queen b3, queen b6, c takes d5, black can take here. Black is okay. Or another variation, if queen takes b6, is this. It's game Janovsky-Capablanca. Capablanca played bishop d7, idea to play e6, bishop d6, and in future prepare b5, knight a5, b5. So this is Janovsky-Capablanca, and many years later was my game with black. I played this line against Luke Van Velde, but it was against Van Velde was different move order. It was knight f3, knight f6. He played queen b3, I played queen b6, knight c3, bishop f5. This was move order. What is correct after queen b3? Here? After queen b3. Or where? Queen b3. So I played this. Luke took here. I took. And with different move order, we have position from game Janovsky-Capablanca. Blunder to play queen b6. Blunder to play queen b6 was here. So knight c3, knight f6, e3, knight f5, c takes d5, c takes d5, queen b3. Now queen b6 is blunder because knight takes d5 and white is winning the pawn. Because if this, knight takes f6 check and a takes b3. If knight takes d5, queen takes d5, black has no sufficient compensation. So queen b6 is bad, but according to modern theory, knight c6 is the strongest move here. And idea is that after queen takes b7, bishop d7. Now black has several threats. For example, if just develop pieces, knight f3, it can be punished. Bishop f5, and this is really unpleasant for white. So queen b3, the main move. Memorizing of game. Okay, it's more important not memory, not remember full games from move one till move last, but very important to remember ideas, critical moments, and other things useful. So after queen b3, rook b8, queen d1, e5. This is standard compensation, but standard for now, of course, not for time when Zuckertort and Steinitz played. So knight f3, bishop d6, important move. Black has good compensation because advantage of development. Somewhere e4 is possible, somewhere castle simply. So this is modern theory. If knight f3, knight a5 already possible. It's playable position. I don't know if it's possible a6. It's another standard idea. Maybe it's possible as well. But now I'm not pretty sure because white has knight a4. If rook b8, queen a3, and then knight c5 is coming. So it's very good here with extra tempo. I mean, for example, knight f6, takes, this, and now if queen b6, white has a3. Good move. Idea to prepare knight a4 and after queen a5 to have b4. So it's game Dlugi Portish. Portish played bishop f5 and knight a4, and white is better. And if queen takes b2, knight a4 is strong. If queen b5, now bishop d2 is... but we can see difference. Now e4 is coming or e3. So knight a5 not possible because rook b1 and knight c5. White is winning. Bishop cannot take yet. So it's very useful idea to know. Okay, so knight c3, e3. Bishop c8, it's possible, but of course it's passive somehow. White has some ideas. Even e4 is possible to consider. After this, bishop c4, e6, d5, very concrete play, or bishop b5 check is also possible. After knight c6, now e4. Idea if d takes e4, d5, a5, 6. This idea. I played once one game with white. Of course, after e4, black can try e6 to play position in style of French defense. For example, e5, something like this. Or bishop d7 is possible. White cannot take on d5, of course, because after takes queen a5, winning the piece. Okay, but knight f3, it's very natural, so white has, in symmetrical position, white has several attempts, so and easy plan, so knight will go to e5, bishop d2, bishop d3, short castle, f4, and then try to improve the position. So white has an easy play. Probably it's possible to defend for black, but black needs to be extremely accurate. For example, this possible, bishop e7, bishop d3, castle, castle. Now after bishop d2 and f4, white has active plan, bishop e1, bishop h4. Something like this. Don't know what black will do here. Not obvious, but white plan can be bishop d2, bishop e1, bishop h4. So knight c6, knight e5, e6. Now, of course, white can do the same. f4 is totally possible. And then bishop d2, bishop d3. But Zuckertort decided to play bishop b5. I don't know if it's the best decision, because bishop is stronger on d3, in my opinion. Queen c7, also not obvious. Maybe bishop d7 was more precise, with idea to prepare bishop d6 and castle, and if for example, imagine that white will play f4 in some moments, black can play knight a5 to prepare positionally good exchange. But okay, I don't know if it works tactically, however, because, for example, this knight on a5 is hanging, and knight c6 is not possible because black is losing exchange. But okay, after bishop d2, black can do something else, for example, a6. Now bishop d3, okay, anyway. White has good position, and bishop e1, bishop h4 is possible plan. Another possible plans, rook f3, rook h3, or queen d1, queen f3, queen h3, with good possibilities for white. So Steinitz played queen c7, bishop d2. Probably white wants to attack on c line. a6 was principal, so this rook c1 and probably c5. It works tactically, positionally, it's good, but it's important, necessary to check. So, for example, if c4, queen b6, something like this. And for example, after takes, rook b8, takes, b3. Black is losing material. But okay, this variation is not forcing, so black has knight e4 here. So it's require probably more deep analysis, but we can consider something like this. If knight takes c5, queen c3, something. I don't know if it works, but at least interesting. If bishop d6, my idea just to play knight f3. It takes the piece back. Okay, Steinitz played bishop d6, natural developing move, f4 castle, rook c1. Bishop takes e5, bishop takes e5. Doesn't look like good positionally, but black already has tactical problems. So, for example, if bishop d7, white has bishop takes c6. And if bishop takes c6, knight b5 is coming. So queen e7, knight takes d6, and bishop d4. And white wins exchange and games. So if bc6, again knight b5. So same story. If queen b8, same motive white can utilize. So only chance to give the queen, but okay, black knight will go to e4. Black has some chances for draw, but looks like white should win this with accurate games after queen d3, for example. So bishop d7 doesn't work. So already we can see that black has serious problem. So Wilhelm Steinitz took with bishop, and so problems that black played bishop d6. Probably they could avoid such kind of problem with bishop e7 if rook c1, bishop d7 to prepare a castle. Because now white has no motive with knight b5, for example. If takes, now knight b5 is totally harmless. Bishop is not on d6. And black is prepared for castle. Anyway, I can repeat, white has more pleasant position, but for example, castle, f4, but here rook fc8, black can try to hold this. Hello, it's pleasant to see many spectators today. Okay, but Steinitz played this, f4, rook c1, and now bishop e7, also he has no time for this, because bishop takes c6 and knight b5 is coming, so he made hard decision. He took with bishop, and now we can see that white has two bishops advantage, and black dark squares are very weak. F takes e5, another logical plan to take with another pawn, with the idea to play knight e2, knight d4 in future. And knight e8 case, why not queen b6? Queen b6. Queen b6, knight a4. Looks like white just winning material. Queen b6 is not good. Okay, anyway, position is bad already. What is the best defense? Maybe knight a5 we can try, however. Maybe this was the best. Queen b6, knight a4, queen d8. Okay, but white can take the pawn. I'm not sure that black has good compensation here. Then bishop b4 is coming. But knight a5 looks like interesting choice, because immediately knight takes d5 doesn't work. Black just will take on c1 and takes on b3, and white losing material. So if after this queen d1, black can play now queen b6 or queen d8. Because anyway, taking on b2 probably not threat, I mean. like this. So queen takes b2, knight a4, and this is very bad for black. So probably more precise to play queen d8 with idea to prepare a6 and b5. Okay, of course, white is better after bishop d3 and then queen f3, queen h3 is possible. But okay, so bishop takes e5, it's a hard positional concession from black side. Sorry. Knight a4, knight takes c6 you consider. But my proposition is bishop takes and takes here, and then bishop b4 is coming. But you are considering this bishop takes c8, knight e4 you are considering. Okay, why not rook b8? Then knight e4, it's not obvious for me, but knight e4, it's okay, very creative. So you are ready to give me rook. Maybe you are right. So, but I'm not sure about this. I want. At least I can consider. Interesting position, I agree, but not how to play. Queen g4, king c2, queen g6, something like this, even possible. Bishop a6, bishop b7. And what now? Knight takes d2 and queen f2 check. Now probably black is already winning. Yes, black is winning already. Okay, so knight. Okay, but as I explained it, white can take with bishop and knight. Not allow this variation. But okay, so I want to understand what is this. What about g3? Takes, 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 this, takes. Black has draw, but bishop a6 is winning. This idea made. So this is king d1, bishop a6. It's good for black. Maybe rook c6 is the best for white. Yes, rook c6 is a reasonable question. If bishop d3, I will take. So I'm ready to give you such a queen. I have too many pieces. we can try to check also. Rook a6, simply. If queen b7, rook a5, and my knight is protected. I was afraid that after rook c6, queen b7, and queen b5 is coming. Or queen a6 after rook c5. So rook c6 is blunder. Rook c6 is blunder because of queen b7, but after rook a6, white is winning. So rook c6 is my proposition, and situation is still unclear. I'm not sure that black is so good here. Okay, but anyway, let's come back to the game. Of course, after queen b6, white can simply play castle to avoid such complications with a pleasant position. After knight a5, queen c2 is possible, or queen d1, as I already demonstrated this idea. If queen takes b2, knight a4, and white is winning. But well, so Steinitz took on e5, takes knight e8, castle, f6. Knight e8 looks like terrible move because knight on e8 against pawn on e5 almost always very bad. So modern chess player surely would play knight d7 here. If castle, knight b6, and try to play bishop d7. Oh, of course, white is much better anyway, because excellent perspectives in king's flank, bishop d3, queen c2, rook f3, rook h3, but at least black has some harmony in his pieces, but very dangerous for king. Knight e8, castle, so very bad position for Steinitz. f6 he played, he wants to improve his position, but he is not developed. And for example, if white plays waiting move, this knight takes d5 is possible. It's quite typical motif. Maybe this is winning, maybe not. I'm not totally sure. Because rook f7, if bishop c4, knight f6. But at least just motive. So bishop d3, it's strong reply, because now black cannot take. Rook takes c6 in which moment? Rook c6, b takes c6, bishop takes c6. Yes, we can consider this, but the question is how strong it is. Bishop b7 is possible. It doesn't look enough for white. Also, rook takes f7. But bishop takes c6. My idea was if queen takes c6, bishop b4. Now white is winning. At least I suppose that white is winning. Probably not, because black has h6. And probably this is only draw. Rook f8, king h7, queen check. check this. So black has threat. Queen takes g2 mate, so probably this is just a draw. Or also black can take with bishop. And black has... no, 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 no. Now rook f8 is beautiful. So here also rook f8, sorry. Such a motive. And now bishop b4. Knight d6 is only move, bishop takes d6, king e8 is only move, and check, and draw. Draw. But with bishop takes c6, rook f8 is winning. Because bishop b4 check is coming. And now knight d6, white can just take here and take the queen. So I want to just illustrate such a motifs. So white has, of course, white has other ideas. For example, bishop e1 is possible if f takes e5 to take on f8 and bishop g3, something like this. But okay, what did Zuckertort is excellent. So bishop d3, he is preparing for queen c2. Black cannot take here because it's very simple refutation. So rook f7, queen c2. And black has very bad position. After g6, even bishop takes g6 looks like winning. Because black cannot play rook g7, knight is still unprotected, so if king f8, white can just take the pawn. So if h6, bishop g6 is coming, so f5 played Steinitz, knight e2, good. White defends against knight b4 and preparing for g4. Bishop d7. Now already was possible to start attack with g4, and after g6 just takes king h1, something like this. Also possible to play here, and b5 is coming. Black has terrible position, white has all trumps. Excellent square will be f4 for his knight, especially after g4, g6, g takes f5, g takes f5, for example. g4, g6, takes, now knight f4. Bishop e1, bishop h4 is possible plan, so b4, b5. But okay, what did Zuckertort? So rook f2, also possible. Rook c8, bishop c3. It's a little bit slow for me. But anyway, white has big advantage. Black has no any contraplay. Queen b6, maybe queen d8 was more logical to have queen here and to play something like this to prepare knight g7. Okay, but Steinitz played queen b6, queen d2, knight e7. So he wants to play bishop b5, typical maneuver for French defense. Rook c1. Now it's not so clear. So white has some advantage, but black improved his pieces. So queen a6 and g4. Finally, white decide to play here, but now black has more defensive resources. But anyway, big positional problem his knight on e8, and white bishop c3 is very strong. So even with losing, better for black was to take, of course, on e2. White is better, but okay, black can defend this position. Queen c6, queen d7 to be ready for long defense. After knight g7, white knight still alive, knight f4, and as knight c8, very strange move, because black should be ready to take with this knight to f5, so probably bishop d7. Muchas gracias a ti. Knight c8, very strange, because go to b6, but if knight will go to b6, simply b3, and knight has no any perspectives in b6, so knight c8 is bad move. Okay, already bad position for black, but knight c8 is bad move, and now for total domination. Knight on f4 is excellent. Rook g1, king h2, queen c6, so knight e7. Black admits that knight c8 was mistake, but it's too late. Queen f2, queen e8, and after rook takes g7 he resigned, but okay. Already, even without this primitive mistake, black has no chances to survive, because 27, knight takes f5. Knight takes f5 was better, certainly, but anyway, the position is much better for black. For example, rook g2 is possible. And then rook g4, h4 is possible plan. Okay, but at least black will not lose so fast. So knight f5, yes, g takes f5 was blunder, I agree. Knight takes f5 was strong. So queen e8 is blunder, but position already totally hopeless, because knight f5, okay, e4 is possible, of course. D takes e4, bishop takes e4, but, well, knight e7. Of course, d5, e takes d5, e6. White has many promising ideas in this position, but at least they are not winning by force, like in the game. So, 2-1 in favor of Zuckertort after game 3. And now again Steinitz played with white. And again he played e4. But now he played Scotch. We can see he played Scotch. Knight f6, quite modern line again. Bishop g5, another popular line here is h3. And after c6, queen f3. Queen f3 immediately also possible, but if queen f3, black has idea bishop g4. If queen g3, queen d7. And if, for example, bishop g5, knight h5. If queen h4, f6, with idea g5. So h3 is more precise. But okay, modern theory suggests something like this. To prepare bishop b7, if knight a4, rook e6. Okay, bishop g5, c6. Now queen f3 is possible with idea to play such an endgame. Knight e2 played Steinitz. Bishop d6. Knight g3, a little bit strange. Knight d4 is more natural. If c5, knight f5, but there is no advantage, because black has standard methods. This, and queen d6. Black is attacked pawn, and they are ready to play g5 at some moment. So this is quite typical defensive resource. Although exactly in this position, maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. I mean, f4 is probably possible. Now this. So black cannot take with queen. So if take with pawn, queen g4. If take this pawn, king h1. This white is winning. So just in this position, black cannot realize this resource. Okay, knight f5. But black can play, for example, this. If white takes, if this rook d8, and then black will take on b2, because bishop takes h2 is threat. So queen should go to f3, and this is equality. And if bishop h4, well, black can play even g5, something like this, and then queen d6. Okay. It's not necessary, also rook b8 was possible, with idea rook b4. But okay, after b3, again, g5 probably is the best. Or now bishop e5 and queen d6. It's because now after f4, black always will have check from d4. Okay, but knight g3 played Steinitz. It's strange somehow. h6 natural. Now bishop d2, knight g4. So now Zuckertort starting attack. So terrible opening by Steinitz. On the queen h4 is threat. So knight g3 is bad move, so of course. So after knight g4, black is clearly better. Important that h3, knight takes f2 and queen h4. This can be a problem for white. Queen f3 only move, but f5 is coming. Black has unpleasant threat f4. But okay, we can try to check something. My idea is this. And now white has rook e8. Probably white is winning here suddenly. At least I don't see defense for black, because if bishop b7, queen f7. Bishop e6, just queen takes f8 and mate. Okay, black can take with queen, of course. And play such endgame with extra pawn. Yes, of course, queen takes g3 is correct. Only question, how big is the chances for win for black? For example, this, just check. If king e7, rook e1 back. King g8. If bishop f4, black has idea bishop c5 and bishop f2. Okay, so. But white has another idea. White can play this. If queen g3, just play this. Okay, black is pawn up, but white has good chances for draw here. So I think knight takes f2 was idea of Zuckertort, which Steinitz won. So bishop e2, want to avoid. So bishop e2, queen h4. Also f5 probably good. With idea to take on g4 with pawn. Or h5 is also possible. So black has pleasant choice. But okay, queen h4 is. Black is clearly better because they have two active bishops and knight on g3, it's a little bit out of play. Queen c1. It looks like bishop e2. Black wants to play, white wants to play bishop f4. So rook e8 was possible, bishop f4, and now black can play bishop f8 or bishop c5, something like this. So bishop e2, rook e1, bishop a6. A little bit artificial, but now black wants to start attack. f5, f4 is coming. If white plays f4, it's possible, but somewhere black will have idea even with rook e4 or bishop c5 check, and if king h1, bishop f2. I mean, for example, b3, f5, f4. This is possible with idea even rook e4 or bishop c5, bishop f2. Bishop c3. White needs to do something. And bishop c3. He wants to play probably queen d2, queen d2, queen d4, f5. Another option was rook e8, very logical. But the problem, bishop takes g7. So rook e8 is not possible because of this reason. Tricky. Tricky Steinitz, but f5. So now bishop takes g7 doesn't work, and black is ready to continue his attack. Rook e6. Possible, but for me, bishop e5 looks like more natural. And if bishop takes e5, rook takes e5, f4, knight f5. This looks like good for black and for white, because black is just losing his f4 pawn. Maybe bishop c5 is stronger to keep bishop, and with idea f4. So now f4. Queen f4 is possible, but endgame is better for black after queen takes f4 and g5, because f4 is coming. Bishop e5, also f4, knight h5, king f7, something like this. looks better for black. So probably bishop c5. Probably bishop c5 is the strongest move. So rook e8, rook d. But now probably bishop e5 was a good moment to play. Steinitz played queen d2. So queen d2, I understand his idea was after f4 to play queen d4. So this was idea, and now black has problem how to defend the pawn g7, because also is it so big for? We can check for example queen g5, h4, queen g4, f3, queen takes g3, bishop e1. So this can be idea of white to catch. Yes, rook f7, knight f5, yes, but now white is winning the queen. But in my opinion, okay, queen d2 he played. In my opinion, bishop e5 was positionally very good, because now black cannot avoid exchange of bishop. Because if bishop c5, rook takes c6. So bishop takes e5, rook takes e5 is forced, and now f5 pawn is under attack. If f4, knight f5 is coming, and white is good. Okay, positionally, of course, exchange of bishops is favor for white if there is no special tactic. I don't see, because, for example, if f4, knight f5, if queen f8, if queen f6, I can just take. Bishop c8, of course, knight e7 is losing, because queen takes e7, but g4 is possible, and white has extra pawn. And black should fight for a draw here, so bishop e5 was... Oh, of course, f4 is not necessary, but if not play f4, white can think about to play f4 themselves. For example, after bishop c8, white can play f4 with quite a good position. So bishop e5 was logical, but Steinitz played queen d2. Tricky move. Rook e6 firstly, rook d8. f5, d4 immediately was impossible, because rook e4 and white has threat bishop takes g7. Also after rook f e8, bishop g7 is possible. Or take first and bishop takes g7. Of course, black has solid defense queen g4 from these threats. Bishop e5, queen d4 in which position? So f5, rook e6, this, bishop e5 takes, queen d4. Queen d4, but if I take on f5 with rook, that's the idea. Oh, just rook takes f5 and I'm not sure that black has sufficient compensation for the pawn. Well, they have something, but queen f6, knight g3, rook f8. Okay, maybe it's enough for draw, but surely black is not better. Rook takes, queen f6, where? What do you mean? Which position? So you want to play here queen d4 or what? Takes, yes, takes, queen f6, yes, it's correct, but okay, white has pawn up, and surely they are not suffering. Black has some active play, but okay, maybe this. If d4, knight g4, and h3 or f3, objectively black should fight for a draw without pawn. Queen d2. So f4, queen d4 he wants. No problem, okay. And also white is prepared for rook g6. Immediately rook g6, d4 is possible. Okay, so bishop e5 was logical decision here. Queen d2, but Zuckertort played d4. And now, obviously, white cannot take on d4. Or they can, who knows. I mean, something like this. It's possible to check. But it's incorrect, because black at least has bishop c4. If rook takes c6, rook c8. Piece. So bishop a5. Played. Bishop b4 is dangerous because black can take and f4 is coming. If knight e4, f3, something like this. But maybe not so easy, because c5 is bad now, because rook takes d6. It's important. But here f4, maybe rook takes c6 is necessary to consider. If it works, which I'm not sure if it works or not. For example, black can take, and now they can play this, and now they can play this. And white is losing his f2 pawn, and what is this? Maybe draw, so rook d6, queen takes f2, king h2, something like this. Okay, this is quite complicated, like rook c6, but it's tricky and interesting. Maybe white can try to take with another pawn even. looks like dangerous, but I'm not sure that black is winning because, for example, queen g5 and queen e3 and queen e2, white has check and queen d3 is coming just in time. Bishop c8 probably. If knight e4, f3, something like this. But okay, knight g3 and after take. Rook e1 position is quite unclear. But bishop h3, so black has attacking chances. Okay, what did Steinitz? So bishop a5 he played, rook d7. Now again bishop b4 was possible, but he took on d6. And played bishop b4. Queen f6. What is this? I'm trying to understand why not knight takes f5 here. Of course, black could avoid this. Queen d8 was possible, but after queen d8, instead of immediately taking on f6, white has extra idea queen f4. So white has quite a good position. But after queen f6, Steinitz played rook d1. So what is the problem to take the pawn? I cannot understand. Probably rook e6, and after bishop takes f8, queen takes f5. And bishop is hanging, and in some variation rook e2 is coming, but not immediately. So bishop a3 and now c5. Rook e2, queen takes d4 is possible. I mean, now black has nothing attractive because if c5, white can protect queen h4, his pawn. But c5 probably here. And now rook e2 is very unpleasant threat. And if rook e1, queen takes c2 immediately, so very tricky position. So knight takes f5 probably was bad move. If knight takes d4, rook d8 is extremely unpleasant. So this is forced, and this bishop is hanging. So bishop a3 is forced, and after c5, white is in some trouble here. Because not possible to prevent rook e2. Queen a5 probably. This idea if rook e2, rook f1. But after queen a5 also queen takes c2 is possible. Okay, maybe white can defend this, but rook e2, rook f1 and queen takes f2 and rook e1 doesn't work. But interesting that, for example, here, queen takes a6. So, for example, if queen f6, white cannot take with queen because this is beautiful mate. So white should control e1 square. But okay, now white can take here. After rook takes, white has some extra pawns. So probably white can defend after queen a5. If queen takes c2, queen takes c5. But okay, still some dangers. Even d3 is possible, because if queen f8, king h7, queen f5, rook g6. It's unclear. Probably white can block the pawn, or just try to attack. h4 is possible. If bishop c8, queen e4. So this is good for white. Okay, so it was possible also. So, but he played rook d1. Also queen f4 was possible. Very logical move. Idea to take on f8. If black will take with king, queen b8 check. If with queen, white can play queen c7 even, probably. Or just rook e1. But so knight takes f5 was possible, also risky. Queen f4 was possible too. So rook e1 was positionally logical move. Put rook in open file. Knight h5 is also possible to consider. So here white has quite nice position. It's difficult to say what is the best for white, but surely only white can be better. So probably plan of Zuckertort with bishop e2 and bishop a6 is too artificial, probably. More reasonable was play something more simple. Even like this, or bishop d7. Idea to prevent bishop f4. And to prepare rook e8. So now surely black is better. So this artificial and objectively probably not so good plan. I don't know what about rook e8, however, probably it's possible. Question which rook, because if this rook, what is this? Queen takes g2. Black has quite serious attack, because if, for example, knight f3, black is winning rook e8 and bishop f4. So black wins here. So not so easy to play with white. Or maybe another rook is also idea, because so knight e2 is losing, because it's rook takes e2, same variation, which I already showed. And it looks very, very dangerous for white. After queen, probably this. Black can play this. After bishop e3, black can play even this. And this endgame, black has excellent winning chances. So such motifs was possible instead of bishop a6. So, no, and now, of course, as I mentioned, queen g4 was solid defense against bishop takes g7, and so f5 is very double-edged moves. So it's aggressive, but white has strong contraplay. So probably objectively queen g4 was stronger. And black has two bishops and some pressure in position. Is it everything okay with stream? Please confirm that I am not speaking to emptiness. Okay, so we can see f5, rook e6, queen d2. Rook f7 is also possible, but after rook f7, bishop e5. Again, white has idea. If bishop takes, rook takes, f4, knight f5. So now d4. And now white has big choice. So Steinitz played rook d1, which, okay, possible, but not necessary. So many alternatives. Knight takes f5 is possible, knight h5 is possible, rook e1 is possible. Okay, but we'll see. Rook d1 he played. White pawn f4, where white pawn f4? Previous position. Previous position, queen g4 here. No, after bishop c3, queen g4. Here f4, no. f4 after f5, f4, just a moment. So he played, no, he played bishops, no, but he played bishop c3. And after f5, f4, impossible already. So he played rook e6, rook d8, and now played queen d2. Zuckertort played d4. Here, if f4, queen d4, I already explained it. And black cannot defend comfortably his pawn on g7. Beautiful idea was this attack of queen. Okay, so rook d1, rook d5, this. Also knight h5 immediately looks logical. Idea to take and then with Stampy to play knight f4. And, this position certainly is more pleasant for white. So queen f7. But black can play take this knights. This is drawish. Opposite bishops. It should be draw. Because if queen takes, knight f4 is more pleasant for white. If rook d6, queen a5 is coming, for example. Steinitz took. Now he played knight h5. He wanted to realize same idea, but now he lost important tempo. But we'll see. Anyway, what is this? So white has knight on f4 and potential square g6 for his knight. But black has some contraplay. But now it's difficult to assert that somebody is better. White can consider, for example, to play f3. After natural rook e3, queen a5, something like this. But okay, white king is a little bit weak, so black has resources for contraplay. g3? Where g3? Here g3 is extremely risky because bishop b7, queen c6. b4 is possible now to prevent c5, but probably g5 can be considered. If knight d3, rook e2. Okay, h4, c5, h5, rook e4. So c3. And he played g3 in future, but so now problem is for white that black rook is much more active than white rook. This is big problem for white if compare. So probably it wasn't the best decision to play rook d1 and okay, knight h5 is drawish, so not now. Now probably white could play simply f3 to prepare rook e1. Important idea to prevent f4, f3. Rook e1 would be possible immediately, but if rook e1, f4, f3 is coming. So f3 it looks like very logical. Because now f4, knight e4, if for example c5, rook e1 is coming, it's more or less equal. Black can try c4, d3, but I don't think that this is so dangerous. White can try to block this pawn. Or after c5 they can play b3. It looks like more or less equal position. Also, anyway, c4 is possible to attack a2 pawn, but a2 pawn is not hanging, rook a1, rook takes a7. So this position is approximately equal in my opinion, but it's very nice because Zuckertort utilized that white has no window for his king. Okay, maybe it was logical to play f3 now. But after f3, g5. And if knight d3, rook e2 is unpleasant. So he played h4, now g5 he prevented, because after g5 he has knight d3 and pawn g5 is hanging. But c5. And black has initiative, surprisingly, because his rook is more active than white rook. For example, if knight d3 now, rook e2, queen, bishop takes d3, c takes d3, rook takes b2. Queen takes c5, queen e2 check. Queen e2, but now queen c8 check, and white will take with check. So probably white could play this. So instead of c5, instead of h5, knight d3 was possible. Bishop takes d3 is forced because so rook e2. No, okay, bishop d3. White can before after c5 also possible. Looks like good idea. Yes, white has strong knight. Yes, and yes, I like. Yes, before I like. So maybe white is even better here, surprisingly. Okay, so this knight h5, c, queen e8. So it's question if queen e8 was the best. But now if c5, immediately knight f4, and black has no rook e5 because knight g6. This is problem. After rook d6, rook e1. So queen e8 was idea. Okay, maybe not only move, but at least understandable. Maybe queen e7 again, knight f4, and so queen e8, knight f4, rook e5, h4, yes, c5 before, yes, you are right. Before was very logical move. And yes, probably takes in g5, but now black king is open as well. At least white can play knight d3 and play without any risk. Knight h3, I don't know, maybe also possible. Aggressive idea, just to take the pawn d4 and try to utilize. Yes, before, you are totally right. Before was strong move. I like before very much. Yes. Before was strong, but Steinitz missed his chance and he played h5 and rook e4. Now before is stopped because black will take. Also, but now also after b4 c4 is possible. If f3 c3 and if queen c1 rook e3 is unpleasant. I mean this line before f3 c3, queen c1 rook e3, knight d5 rook e2, knight c7, queen e5 and queen g3. Black wins. So before is too late. So he played c3. So now white is in trouble already because black consolidated his pieces and okay, so he played c3 and now g3. Looks like very dangerous, but okay, maybe not losing yet. Maybe knight d3 was more solid, however, because g3 it's very risky. Knight d3, my idea is that after rook h4, now g3 I can play. And if rook takes h5, knight f4, or okay, knight f4. Rook g5 only move and just take on d4, and looks like white is very good here because rook is very strange on g5. So if takes, white has queen c4 check, and okay, maybe it's not so easy. King h7. But after king h7, even queen f7 is possible. Because queen takes c5, rook f4, I am afraid. Okay, it's also a question how big is winning chances for black here. For example, queen takes c5, pawn is attacked, so rook f4. Okay, black is attacking f2 pawn, but rook on f4 is in strange position, so probably white can play simply f3. This is queen takes c3. Looks like draw. Even this. Or maybe black has some winning chances after g6, I don't know. More likely it is draw. And who knows? Pawn endgames usually necessary to check. Because if d takes c3, my idea was simply play rook d7. And rook c7, and this is probably draw. Or here queen f7 also possible. Attack. Not so easy to understand what black should do because white has threats. For example, if queen e2, white can play rook b1 even immediately. Rook g4 is only move. Okay, maybe also check firstly. Super battle check. If king g8. Like this. Looks like draw somehow. Rook b7. Rook e7. Queen d5 check. Queen d5, queen e6 also is possible. So probably not so easy for white. But okay, even this. Queen's endgame. Black has strong pawn, but weak king probably. White will have perpetual check, but okay, it's too long variation. So knight d3 was possible, like variation, but already we can see that white is fighting for the draw. Okay, so we considering this. Queen c4 check, king h7. Queen takes c5, rook f4. If queen takes c5, rook f4. If queen f7, queen e2. Okay, but Steinitz played g3. It's very risky move because long diagonal now is weak. But we'll see. Knight g6 he played. Is it necessary or not? It doesn't look like necessary. So f3 looks like logical move for me. D takes c3 hardly possible because queen d8 check and then I will take rook. So rook e3 is only move. But now I can take, of course not king f2 because bishop b7, but I can take on d4 and what is my problem? At all. So c takes d4, normal, queen takes d4, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, rook takes f3. But now only white can pretend for something. So for example, check is possible. King h7 is losing immediately. If king f7, rook d7, it's also far from pleasant for black. Rook e1. We'll check. I have seen rook e1, but what is your idea if I just play king f2? It looks like black is just pawn down in bad position. Yes, so c3 probably not so bad idea, but here's question: if queen e5 was good move from Zuckertort. For example, why not bishop b7? Bishop b7 looks very natural after g3. And now f3, rook e3, c takes d4, rook takes f3, doesn't look so pleasant for black, for white. So this doesn't work. Okay, but move, I don't know what was time control. It's also, if move 40 was important. This is a bet for white because rook takes g3 and black is winning. If king h2, rook g2. So bishop b7 was If c takes d4, black can take with rook, and then they have some threats. Okay, maybe white should play this. Rook takes d4, but now queen e2 probably. Probably white should play. And important that queen is protected, and black yes, so it's not bad for white at all. Also possible this. f3, rook e3, queen d4, rook f3. What is this? Now it's different situation because bishop is better on b7 than on a6. But not better because black cannot play king f7. After king h7 they are losing after knight g6. I hope they are losing at least. That's most likely they are losing. Then rook takes a7. Okay, but after f3, black can play rook e8. And here black has contraplay. Queen takes d4, bishop f3, rook d2, rook d3, approximately equal position. So after queen e5, f3 was very strong, and Steinitz could have very good chances for win in this position. 2 hours for 30 moves. So it was move 32, so he had time. So after f3, excellent position. But he played knight g6, queen e d6, knight f4. So he lost 2 tempis. Yes, knight g6 is blunder. He played knight f4 and allowed d3, b3, c4. Of course, white cannot take on d3 because bishop d3 and rook e1 I will show on the board. b3, c4, and now white has problem with d3 pawn. And also with long diagonal. Well, of course, knight g6, knight f4 was terrible. Queen b6, somewhere rook e2 can be unpleasant idea, and finally bishop b7. So things are very bad for white now. Rook b2, queen c6, bishop f3. Final blow. Rook f3, d2 is coming, so bishop e2. So victory by Zuckertort. So it was game 4, and last one for today, game 5. Zuckertort, game 5 is white. He's playing d4, and he won. How it was? No. It was this. He played a3. Creative. And c5. Quite strange. And surely black has good position here. But okay, it's strategy. So we have seen that in first game, Zuckertort put his knight on f3 and Steinitz utilized it e5 and e4. So now he wants to play more or less same plan, but with knight on g1. So if e5, e4, it will be without tempo. Yes, yes, yes. Accelerated Chebanenko, yes. a5. Okay, a5 is not necessary, totally possible to play e5, for example. Of course, black has no problem at all. After b4, knight d7, or just take and play knight f6, bishop e7 is castle. But okay, but a3, Steinitz decide to play a5, so he doesn't want to allow b4. Queen b3. Not necessary, but okay, probably he wants to fight against b6 immediately or in future. So knight c3 is natural, but knight d7, black in some moment can consider b6. It's question it's good or not. Because, for example, white can just ignore this idea and play knight h4, exchange this bishop and to have comfortable position. But okay, black is not necessary for black to hurry with b6. They can play just knight f6, bishop e7, not allow knight h4. Okay, queen b3, queen c7, knight c3, knight d7. For modern chess, rook a7, of course. It's typical move, maybe not so bad move, because rook on a7 not worse than queen on b3. But okay, it's for modern chess, it's Morozevich style. Queen c7 is normal move. Knight a4, knight f6, knight e2. Very creative, but objectively, of course, black has a good position. Bishop bishop d2. Now we see motif which I showed. So if e5, white can consider this and f4. And then f5. But, question if it's so strong, because knight g4, if f5, knight takes h2 is possible. But okay, it's at least necessary to calculate this. This something very messy, something like this. Okay, but this is complicated and not forcing. Okay, castle, bishop e2. And again, black has ideas with e5, but always d takes e5 and f4 at least need be considered. Okay, maybe now f4 not so dangerous because a knight can go to d7 if f5, bishop h5 is possible. So because of this, e5 probably is more precise than castle. After bishop e2, black can just exchange and castle. Now after castle, bishop e2, e5 is possible, but necessary to check d takes e5. Okay, of course, knight e4 is possible. So knight takes c4, black can take with bishop and play bishop g6 and then to take pawn back c5 or e5. But okay. So Steinitz has another plan. He doesn't want to play e5. He played rook fb8. He wants to utilize b3's queen on b3 and start attacking another flank. Also very logical plan, but queen c3, so black is better. Knight d7, c4, so excellent for black. So positionally, black is almost winning here. But, so what made white bad? Okay, probably in this position, white should play something else. For example, queen c3 with b6, maybe even before, unfortunately, impossible because b5 and white should play knight b6 and lost pawn. So maybe this, knight c5, this, knight a4, queen c1. White losing the pawn, but there is some compensation. Rook takes b2 is bad because bishop d1. Or maybe not bad, because rook b8 and rook b1 is coming. So it's not bad. But okay, at least this situation is very far from clear. I can play this with good compensation for a queen, because black cannot defend. If king b6, white pawn to b6, in which moment king b6 or knight b6, you mean? In which moment? In which moment knight b6? Here knight b6. No, here knight b6, just take and queen d8, and then knight d7 is coming. White cannot protect the pawn. Also a4 is threatened, and so now white is just losing the pawn. So queen c3 was the best chance in my opinion, because now white has a very bad position. But strange that Zuckertort managed to win this. We'll see how. Knight f6. Okay, big choice for black. Even h5 can be considered, immediately attacking another flank. But okay, so knight f6 is normal move. Bishop c3. Again, h5 is possible. So f3, f4. So positionally looks like catastrophe for white. Now, the most natural move for black is h5, of course. Idea h4, knight e4 to fight against to fight for e4 pawn, e4 square. Okay, Steinitz played bishop d3 firstly, and now h5. Okay, not so bad. h4. Very strange that white won this game, because position looks like so terrible, so hopeless. But we'll see what happened. The black has even knight g4 now, because if knight takes h5, queen d8, pawn is attacked. If g3, g6 or bishop g6, knight is trapped. Okay, after knight g4, white can play bishop d1 and take on g4, but it's terrible. White is very close to be losing. For example, this h5, black can consider bishop e7, bishop h4 plots. Okay, white is not losing by force, but the situation is very unpleasant for white, surely. And now maybe knight takes e3 and bishop takes e4 can be considered like idea. Okay, now knight takes h5. No, this is not convincing. Okay, but what happened? So black has so many ways to improve positions. So but Steinitz lost. Queen d2. Rook bb8, not natural move, but pawn a5 is hanging, so a4 probably Steinitz doesn't want to allow bishop b4, although I don't think that bishop b4 was... also bishop a5. Bishop a5 may be more serious. Also, what is this, for example? If I take... take, with this. For sure, only black can be better here. Okay, but Steinitz played this. More natural was to play this, probably. To have b8 square for another rook, but okay, he played this, queen f2. So white is playing without any contraplay. What happened? Bishop e7 played Steinitz. Bishop f3. White wants to prepare e4, although of course e4 doesn't solve problem. Black can just play, for example, this, e4, just take everything. Bishop f6, queen d5, and still situation is unpleasant for white, so okay, rook is better. Okay, knight e4 played, knight h1. So white lost the pawn, but now position is more stable for white. Of course, black is much better with pawn up. But how he lost? Queen d5, right? Okay, looks like black is very close to win, and to avoid any contraplay, so only a chance for white to play g4 in some moments. So to avoid contraplay was possible f5, king f7, and then to do everything what they want. So but okay, rook b3 played, rook h1, king g7. So here it was last moment to play f5. Still, after f5, situation is very difficult for white. But Steinitz played bishop d8, allowed g4. Now it's different story because all of black pieces are in queen's flank, so attack of white can be dangerous. So takes, and also black played bishop a5, very strange move, and rook h7. So incredible. What is this? Difficult to say. For example, queen f5, king g3, g5, queen h2 was possible continuation. Yeah, this, if queen g6, king f2 to prepare rook g1. So of course here f5, before f5 was more logical, but even here white is suffering. So bishop d8 was mistake, and now he played terrible move bishop a5. So if not play something forcing, black should play something like bishop e7 to prepare rook g8, king f8. But of course now white has ideas in this position. Even bishop b4 is possible to consider, or rook h2 simply, and rook h1, rook h3. So, but at least black is not losing. So bishop a5, he completely lost control on position. Rook h7 check, and suddenly game is king f8. He repeat moves. Black cannot avoid because if king e7, white has rook a7 intermediate check. Instead of bishop e7, just knight g4 earlier. Instead of bishop e7, where knight g4. Yes, very bad position. Knight g4 here knight g4 you want. Okay, takes h5. Only idea, and of course black is much better. Even f5 is possible. Yes, it was possible. I agree that it was strong. Okay, but in the game, so Steinitz spoiled queen f2, so no draw, because white has winning position, queen is coming to h4. And all of active black pieces are out of play now. Rook b3, bishop d3. So bishop d8 is desperation, but black has no defense anymore. Bishop c3. Maybe even queen h4 is possible. Is winning, I don't know. Oh, b takes c3. Very natural, but maybe even queen h4 is winning. After rook b2, king g3. And now mate into rook h8, queen f6 threat. If queen f5, just rook h8 and rook takes a8. So probably even this is winning. Bishop d8, knight e5. And now the weakness. f7 square. Of course, rook h1 was possible. So knight e5, king g8 he played. Rook a7 looks like more stubborn. Or rook b7, but anyway. Rook b7, bishop b4. So rook a7 was the best try, but anyway, black is losing here, of course. Even after rook h1 simple. King g8, rook h1. Now even worse. So rook f6, Steinitz resigned because after rook takes f6, queen h4 is coming. So after first 5 games, 4-1 in favor of Zuckertort. But later situation will change it. We will continue. Knight takes g6. Yes, knight takes g6 is possible. My idea was to play king e8 and try to go to d7 somehow. Very bad position. Losing position for black, of course. After rook h1, for example. But at least not losing so fast like Steinitz. Okay, so for today is enough. Thanks for your attention. And I will continue this match from game 6 in my next report. Or I can comment something from vacancy, of course. Good night.